Sometimes meetings or appointments or events even are recurring. They recur at regular intervals. Let's take the client meeting that we made. I'm going to double click and open this client meeting. We've decided that this client meeting is now going to be every Monday from 3 to 5 for the next 4 weeks. To make this meeting recurring, we hit the recurrence button. From there, we have the option to make it recurring daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly. If I choose weekly, I can make it every 1 week, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, but I'm doing it every week on a Monday. And I'm going to end after 4 weeks, so after 4 occurrences. And I'll click OK. When I click Save and Close, you'll notice now there's a little recurrent symbol in the bottom corner. And you'll notice that each Monday, there is now a client meeting for the next 4 weeks. If I want to make a change to that meeting and I double click it, I can now make a change just for this one or for the entire series. Let's say there's been a change in the time that the meeting occurs, so I'm going to go entire series and click OK. I'll click the recurrence button and we've decided now that we're actually going to have it from 3:30 till 5 rather than 3 to 5 and OK. When I save and close, each of these meetings now for the next 4 weeks will be from 3:30 till 5. So you can make a change for just the one meeting or all occurrences. The same with deleting. If I click on a meeting and delete it, I can delete this one occurrence or I can delete the entire series. So recurring can save you a lot of time entering each individual appointment or event, such as birthday, which happens yearly, or each meeting. Now when you work with your calendar, you can also create additional calendars. For this, I'm going to go into the Folders view and I'm going to right-click Calendar in the Folders pane. And I'm going to choose New Calendar. When I choose New Calendar, I'm going to begin with the word calendar so it puts them together alphabetically, and I'll make it an events calendar. So I want a calendar called Events, and I'm going to click on Outlook, or the top folder, whatever the name of your top folder is, because I want the calendar events to be under this top folder and on the same level as this calendar. So I'll click OK. That way they're nicely together. Now I've got a new calendar which I can use and work with separately from my own calendar and perhaps put events in it. I used to use it also for hiring out rooms and for booking rental accommodation. That way you could make sure you weren't double booking by creating a separate calendar from your own to record events or bookings in a separate calendar. When I choose calendar in the navigation options, I'll also find that I have the calendar events here, plus I have my own calendar here, so you can see two calendars side by side. In fact, you can see many calendars when you're in this calendars view. For example, you can not only create your own calendar, but you can also share your calendar and they can share their calendars with you. I'm not quite in that scenario, but if I wanted to share my calendar, I would click this button and I would say who I wanted to share it with and what they were allowed to do. If someone shared a calendar with me, then I would go to Open Calendar and I would open a shared calendar and I would be able to see what was in somebody else's calendar. Once you've got more than one calendar open, you typically see these calendars side by side, but you can overlay them. Let me put an appointment in here to demonstrate. Perhaps I'm looking for some free time with these two calendars. I'll just put an appointment in here. Oops. Oh. Save and close. And I'll just stretch it. And I will also duplicate it. Just by holding the control key and dragging, I'm duplicating an appointment. Now what I'm trying to do is see where there's some free time across these two calendars. So let me just do a little bit of movement. Now I want to overlay the calendars. So this is what this will do, this arrow here. I'm going to view in overlay mode. When it's overlaid, just move that reminder out of the way. When it's overlaid, I can then clearly see both calendars on top of each other. I can bring this one to the front or this one to the front. And what I'm trying to do with them overlaid is find a time that they're both free. So I can see both calendars are free in this area, both calendars are free for that hour there, both calendars are free for these 2 hours here. And there's an hour there as well, and an hour there. So overlaying can be quite useful. And if I want to put them back to side by side, I simply click the arrow and put the calendars back to side by side. If you create an appointment in your calendar and then you decide to share that calendar, you may think about making that appointment private if you don't want them to see the details about that appointment. Let me double click this appointment, for example, and open the entire series. I might like to make this private, so I'll hit this private button here. When I save and close, you'll now see there's a little padlock. And because I did it for the entire series, the padlock appears on all of them. And so whoever shares my calendar now can see that I'm actually busy from 3:30 till 5, but because it's private, they can't find out the more private details about that appointment. Now the other thing you can do is you can also make tasks, appointments into tasks and tasks into appointments. What I mean here is I'm viewing my calendar at the moment, but I'm going to turn on my to-do bar. I'm going to go to View, and I'm going to go to To-Do Bar and turn on my tasks. And here they are here. When I look at my tasks, and one of them is to write the Visio 2016 notes, I think, right, before anybody books it, I'm going to put some time towards that on Thursday. I'll drag this task and drop it on my calendar. And then I'll stretch it and I'll block out that portion of that afternoon to work on that particular task. I don't lose the task from my tasks list on my to-do bar, because just because I spend that afternoon on it doesn't mean that I've completed the job. It just means that I've done some work towards it. It also means if I have an appointment or a job here and I find I can't do it on Monday for whatever reason and I don't want to lose it, I can drag that appointment and drop it on my tasks. And when I drop it on my tasks, it'll be something that I have to do at some point. Don't worry that it doubles up on mine. I just have a rather unusual configuration going with this video. So you can drag an appointment and turn it into a task. You can drag a task and turn it into an appointment, and you can work between those two. What often happens too is you get these reminders come up. And so what you can do with these reminders, you can dismiss the one appointment or dismiss all, or you can put them on snooze and tell them to remind you in another 15 or 10 minutes. Or you can simply close the reminder window. If you want to bring the reminder window back up, go to View and bring up the reminders window and then close again.